The new Clash of Clans summer update is out. With that, we have received the cookbook, bringing us many new strategies, and in this video I'll guide you through every single one of them and show you exactly how you should use them to get 3 stars in those attacks. With that, hello and welcome to yet another video, and here is the cookbook. You always have strategies from your own Townhall level as well as the Townhall level below you, so you can always try out a little bit, but we're of course going to focus on our Townhall 17 attack strategy. So that would be Winged Fury, Frozen Spear, Roots and Axes, and the Horde. But one quick notice, you're probably way better off just going onto any YouTube video and copying that attack strategy, because I have tried them out and they are really not good, and you can already see that because none of these are actually using epic equipment and they are not quite optimized. The equipments just make absolutely no sense on any of them. Well, if you make sense, but every single one of these attack strategies, it is actually incredibly hard to get 3 stars with them. If I were to rank them, I would probably put Winged Fury on number 1. It is probably the best attack strategy, get 3 stars. And on number 2, I would probably put Roots and Axes. And both Frozen Spear, so the thrower attack strategy, as well as the Horde with the Yetis, as well as the Furnaces, are absolutely terrible. It's nearly impossible to get any triples with them. But let's of course dive into the first attack strategy, and that is Winged Fury, where we have this combination, and in combination with that, we of course have the Stone Slammer as our siege machine. And in that Stone Slammer, I would advise you to put 2 dragons and 3 balloons. So this would be the clan castle. We have the Stone Slammer, we have 1 rage spell, 1 poison spell, as well as 2 of those dragons in combination with 3 balloons. So let's take a look at how this is going to work out. And I threw this attack strategy on top of this box space, and of course you can already see that Giant Arrow is doing a lot of work. I was trying to snipe out, well, at least trigger both of those invisibility towers and swipe out the sweeper that is pointing towards the Townhall, because you always want to take the smallest entry for your Electro Dragons. So on this box space, it would of course be directly into the Townhall, because you have such a small entrance. You just basically spam everything in, you use your queen to funnel one of these sides, and you use all 3 of the baby dragons you have in this army composition to funnel the other side, and then just go directly into the Townhall. Use all of your spells as soon as possible. You always want to use them as soon as but it's always better to use them sooner than later. And of course, with those lightning spells, you want to take out the back-end air defenses. In this case, I of course only had 2 more back-end air defenses, which I was able to take out, and the remaining 3 lightning spells I just dropped on top of this multi-archer tower. On the back end, you can now of course also use your World Champion. The World Champion has the Seeking Shield as well as the Life Gem on there, so you just have to use the RC ability a little bit earlier, because the Seeking Shield can then of course do a little bit of work. It got a little close in the end, but of course, as I already said, none of these attack strategies are incredibly good. You're just way better off just going onto any YouTube channel, for example Itsu, Judoslav, Clash Bashing, or for example also our channel, and just copy one of those attack strategies right there that are optimized for Townhall 17. And that are just great army compositions, unlike these ones, because the strategies from the cookbook just have a lot of flaws, which you of course don't want if you want to get those 3 stars. But still, if you want to try them out, this is exactly how you use the E-Dragon strategy. But of course, we have more strategies to take a look at, so let's dive right into the second one. And the second attack strategy is this Frozen Spear attack strategy. It's basically just a spam attack strategy with 8 quakes and a lot of throwers. It is quite alright, but it's really just not good. It also has a lot of flaws. The only way of getting 3 stars is basically from that Healer Puppet equipment. If you don't use the Healer Puppet early enough, you have basically no chance of getting 3 stars, because your throwers just go down insanely quickly. But in our clan castle, we of course have the barracks from this attack strategy, and in that barracks we are going to put a lot of super minions, so 4 super minions in combination with 1 balloon and 2 of our archers. And how you want to use this strategy is basically you want to use all of your earthquake spells to open up the base, and then just put 1 ice golem as well as 2 throwers on both of these sides just to funnel, and then all of your troops just straight down the middle. It's incredibly important that most of the throwers as well as of course your heroes walk into the core of the base, and then it's just basically praying. You just put the siege barracks directly behind so the packers as well as those wizards walk into the middle of the base, and then on the first stage you're going to use those druids in the beginning. So you're going to put those druids down, and once those druids are well transforming to bears and you have no more healing, that's basically when you're going to use the Grand Warden Eternal Tome, and after that you are going to use your Archer Queen's ability so those healers spawn, and those healers in combination with the Rage Aura from the Grand Warden can actually do a lot of work and are actually the only way of you getting 3 stars. So that's now Grand Warden's Eternal Tome has weared off. And now we're going to use the Archer Queen ability, and you can already see that those healers are doing a little bit. Of course, they are still hanging behind quite a bit. And then on the backhand, you want to use the Royal Champion ability. So the Royal Champion with those hawks can do a lot of work. And if the Royal Champion goes down, you always want to use that revive spell on top of the Royal Champion. You don't need it for any other hero. The only hero where you want to use this revive spell for is basically on the Royal Champion. It's the only hero that is going to really benefit from it on this attack strategy. But of course, in this end, I still had one free spell, and my Royal Champion still had quite a bit of hit points, so she didn't need to get a revive spell because it didn't went down. If she were to go down, you always want to use that revive spell on top of your Royal Champion, but here you do have to watch out that something is tanking for your Royal Champion whenever you're reviving. So you don't want to directly revive her when she goes down, because most likely those defenses that killed her are probably still up, and you don't want to send her directly into the death trap once again. So you first have to wait a little bit for your Barbarian King or maybe your Archer Queen to tank those defenses that just killed your Royal Champion, and then you can revive her, and then your Royal Champion should most of the time still do a little bit of work. Third attack strategy is this Root Water attack strategy with a lot of Valkyries and a combination with the Flame Flinger. I have no idea why a Flame Flinger's in there, but hey, Supercell gave us a Flame Flinger, so we have to work with a Flame Flinger. And in that side of that Flame Flinger, we are once again going to do 4 of our super minions in combination with 1 balloon, and this time 1 minion. And how that's working out, let's dive right into the attack. And here for this attack strategy, I chose this Diamond base because Diamond bases are probably the best for Root Fighters. And I just put 1 Valkyrie down to test for any Tesla, and after that I dropped my Flame Flinger down. Flame Flinger actually didn't get too much value on this attack because I actually dropped it in. Well, it's going to walk inside of that expo range in a little bit, and then of course expos are just the best counter against Flame Flinger. So the Flame Flinger is basically doing absolutely nothing. Then I use the Grand Warden on the other side in combination with a few healers just to do the little bit of counter funnel, and also our Barbarian King yet again on the other side to funnel the other side, and then send every single one of our troops in and just once again spam all of those spells. And now, very important, you want to use those overgrowth spells to keep every single one of your troops together. So now probably afterwards, if I weren't to drop this overgrowth spell on the right hand side, my troops would have split up and everything would have just thinned out relatively quickly. And of course, with the new Eternal Tome rework, if everything splits up, nothing is invincible anymore. At least not all of those troops that are walking outside of the range from the Grand Warden, from the Eternal Tome, are just not invincible after their split second. So of course you really need all of those troops to be together. And of course, now once again I dropped a second overgrowth spell on that right side compartment just so my Royal Champion doesn't go there on her own, but stays together with our troops just a little bit longer. And now you can already see with the abilities we still have on all of our heroes, we still have the ability from the Barbarian King, we still have the ability from the Archer Queen as well as from the Royal Champion. But basically, the abilities on our Archer Queen as well as on our Barbarian King are basically useless. You don't really need them, especially if Amsters is a complete waste. The attack strategy gave us these equipment, so we have to deal with it. And you can see that even though if the equipment combination is not too good, you can still get those 3 stars, mainly just because Root Fighters are so incredibly strong. You just have to really watch out that everything is clumped up together. And for that, you of course have those overgrowth spells. So the overgrowth spell is what makes this attack strategy so incredibly strong. If you use them correctly, you can have a lot of success with this strategy. Of course, we have yet another attack strategy, and this would be with the Yetis as well as the furnaces. And this attack strategy is just, if you want to try it out, just don't. Just don't, okay? Just don't. It makes absolutely no sense. The hero combinations make no sense. You have no Archer Queen, the equipments on top of your Barbarian King as well as your Minion Prince are completely useless. You have no spells to heal your Yetis, everything just instantly goes down. But to at least have a little bit of hope inside of our wall breaker, which of course also as a siege machine makes absolutely no sense, we have 3 of our ice golems in combination with 2 of our balloons. But let's take a look at how this is going to work out in an attack. And for this attack strategy, I don't even have a replay because I've done over 20 attacks and didn't manage to get a triple a single time. So I just want to get it over with, and we're hopping straight into a live attack where I'm going to at least show you how it could work out. So we want to choose, of course, the approach where we are not going into any of these fire spitters. So we want to funnel a little bit with our Yetis. So we funnel with our Yetis on both of those sides. We're using our wall breakers just to get a little bit inside of the base, which of course didn't work out because we just have 2 wall breakers. And then we're just going to spam in everything in one of those flanks with those furnaces behind. And now we're going to use our earthquake spell there as well. And we're at least going to use our overgrowths to limit the damage we get on our troops a little bit. We're going to send our Minion Prince in there as well, because I have no idea what else to do with our Minion Prince. We're going to use our Grand Warden's Eternal Tome relatively early. And now we can already see every single one of our troops is splitting up. We want to rage our World Champion, because else we have no chance to get that core down. And we now have our overgrowth should wear off in a second, and we're dropping the second overgrowth just to limit the damage we have on there. And we can already see that our ice golems are doing quite a bit of work, but still we have so much base left. And of course behind that overgrowth spell is still so much damage we have to go through, and already every single one of our troops went down. We still have our Minion Prince alive as well as the World Champion alive, but the World Champion is already in Phoenix mode, so she's a good down in a little bit. And of course, with our Minion Prince as well as one of those free spells, just not enough to get through the remaining of the base. You can maybe, if you're lucky with this attack strategy, you can get to 80%, but basically it's just complete garbage. I've done over 20 attacks and I didn't manage to get a single triple with it. So I just gave up, and here you just have a fail. Hey, I can also fail. We also include fails into YouTube videos. If you enjoy this kind of content, I would of course really appreciate you subscribing to our channel, and maybe one day we could get to those 20k subscribers, because actually over 90% of you aren't subscribed to our channel. But with that, I would say see you guys soon with the next video. Until then, see ya and bye bye.